Turning once again to Boston politics, we bring you another segment with a candidate running for city councilor at large. We'd like to welcome Martin Kehoe. Thank you very much for being with us, Martin.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's not unusual for an attorney to be running for city council, but you're an attorney who at one point was a dropout.
That's correct. People are amazed when I tell them that my family and friends all know that I'm an attorney, but when I tell people that I dropped out of high school, they say, "Oh my God, how did that happen? And how did you become an attorney afterwards?"
So explain.
Well, when I went to school, Hyde Park High School back in the 80s, it was still a tumultuous time. And also at the same time in my own family life, my parents were going through I would say a nasty divorce. And I think it had an impact on what was happening to me. I went to the Kennedy School in Hyde Park, and then I eventually went to Hyde Park High School, where I was basically an A-B student. And with the crisis at home, my grades started going down, and eventually I dropped out.
So what got you back on track?
Well, one day, I'm going to say it was about 84 or 85, my mother was very upset, and she came in and she woke me up and she said, "You need to do something with your life. You've got to go back and you have to get your high school diploma." I was too old at that point to go back to high school, so I went and I got my GED, and then I enrolled in Boston College at night.
So what's unusual also is that your legal work is with, I guess, a lot of troubled young people.
Well, there's an interesting part of my life. After I dropped out of high school, I did get into a little bit of trouble, mainly fighting. And I did see the inside of a courtroom. And while I was sitting there, the charges against me were dismissed. But when you get charged with a crime, any crime, you sit in court a lot and you watch what's going on. And I said, geez, I think I can do that. I think I can be an attorney. It was kind of what sparked me to go to law school. I had to go to college first, obviously.
Well, I know you're concerned about public safety. Anything you like to do as a counselor, especially with this increase in shootings we're going through this year?
Well, definitely part of my two main parts of my campaign, I want safer neighborhoods and I want neighborhood schools. But the safer neighborhoods, there was a triple murder in Dorchester last week. We've got the problem that's happened with the Patriots player who is being charged with murder also. But I think it's funny that the Patriots player, where he's a celebrity, is taking all the headlines. But this triple murder kind of was putting it back, as well as some other crimes that happened around Dorchester. I think the police are doing a great job, but I think they're understaffed, and I think we need more funding to put more police on the street, particularly in Dorchester, downtown Boston, and Chinatown.
Right. Would you want to keep Ed Davis on as commissioner?
I think he's doing a great job. If I were the mayor, I think anybody who becomes mayor, they'd be a fool to replace him. I think he's doing a great job, and he signed my nomination papers too. So he's got my vote.
You can't take that too lightly. What about the ideas on community policing? Do you think there's something qualitative that we need to do differently, maybe?
My headquarters is in West Roxbury, and the other day, Captain Hassan from the station, Erie E in West Roxbury, stopped up and knocked on the door. I thought he was just going to say hi. I really didn't know why he was there, and he told me a lot about himself. And I said, "Well, did you go out of your way to come up and knock my door?" He said, "No, I do this. I go up and down. I talk to residents and businesses on the street." I think that is a plus as to why West Roxbury has such a low crime rate. He's out in the street doing it. His officers are out in the street doing it. I think that community policing does work.
On schools, I know you said that you're very much in favor of neighborhood schools, but you also know that West Roxbury, you've got some great neighborhood schools that are vastly oversubscribed. And then you've got some other schools in other neighborhoods that people don't want to go to. They'll go any place that has a good school.
I've come across that with a couple of different residents. The reason I get into politics 20 years ago, this is my first time running, but I've helped other politicians. Neighborhood schools destroyed Boston. It's being rebuilt slowly, and I think we're ready for neighborhood schools across the city. The problem we have is that you'll get some parents in the minority community that say, "You can put a school in my neighborhood, but it's not going to be a better school than the one I can get across the city." And of course, my response is that it's a shame that you have to send your kid across the city to go to a better school. I want to put a school in your neighborhood, and I want it to be the best school, so you want to go there. And maybe you'll say, "I don't want other people from my neighborhood coming here. They've got their own good neighborhood school." I think the travel time that kids are on the bus is it's just a waste of their time. I think they should be in school early. I also think for parents like myself, if my child who's 2 years old, if we can't get the Kilmer School or the Beethoven School, which is near where we live right now, I'm going to have to drive my kids somewhere, and it's going to cut into my time as well.
Well, as you know, Tom Menino put that nice-looking new school near Orchard Gardens, and for a number of years after it opened, it was a basket case. I guess, they had some extra turnaround powers. They really shook things up. So isn't there something extra you need to make that work in more schools in the neighborhoods where people are more inclined to go on a bus?
Well, I think that the community has got to be totally involved with the school. If your kids aren't going to that school, you're probably not really going to care about that school other than what are the students doing there after they get out. I think there are a bunch of other schools in the system that are perfect models. But I think that without parental involvement, without politicians paying attention to what's going on, I don't think any school is going to be able to succeed. The Boston Teachers Union and teachers across the city are doing a great job with their teaching, but there is something more, and you're right about that. And
Well,
something has to be
that
done.
was a school where the union lost some of its power to keep people in place. So the question is, do we need to do that in more schools maybe if we're going to make them better?
I think we just have to have really very good teachers in the school system. I think that there's going to be a power struggle with the teachers union and the charter school, the folks who favor charter schools and the teachers union. I'm in favor of the teachers union position on charter schools. I think charter schools are okay, but I think that what happens with the charter schools is they're not all inclusive. They'll take the good students and they'll send the bad students back. I shouldn't say the bad students, but they'll send the students back that don't fit in that school. They don't take special education students, et cetera. But clearly there has to be more dialogue on what's being taught in the schools.
Well, everybody wants more quality extended learning time. Any idea about how to get the money for that?
Well, this is what I think. Now, first of all, we can't ask our teachers to go and spend more time and not pay them for doing it. If we can't give them the money to teach after-school programs or extend the school day, then we have to find a solution. And the solution I think we have is right now with the colleges, universities, and hospitals, they have the pilot program, which is they don't pay any taxes. What they do is they offer scholarships and other services. What I'd like to see is the colleges find people who are in their students that are in their teaching programs and give them credit to go and work in the public schools from, say, like 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, it can be anything for extra math or extra English or even sports programs, which I'm totally in favor of, putting more after-school sports programs in every school. We can't pay for it right now, but I think that the colleges and universities can donate the students and where the students are paying money to go to that college anyway. The colleges aren't losing anything, but the students get credit for coming in and getting real-life experience.
Okay. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Chris.